Now
on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
Well, good morning. It is 7:07 on News Talk 105.9 WMAL. We are making sense of the news. I'm Andrew Langer in for Larry O'Connor today and tomorrow, joining Mercedes Schlapp. Good morning, Mercy.
Good morning. This is usually my hour because Gloria Stefan's on, so it
there
helps
you
me
go.
connect with my Cuban heritage.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. This is good stuff. Anyway, we're going to be joined later on in the show. Mark Morano from Climate Depot, Mark Trammell from the Center for American Liberty, and Mark Morgan. It's the day of the Marks here on Traffic Day number 4, as Jamie Whitten says. Mark Morgan is with the Heritage Foundation. Right now, joining us, this is a story that is so vitally important to me. I've been a fan of his work as a justice and also his work as an activist and a scholar. Mark Paoletta, he's a senior fellow at the Center for Renewing America. Mark, they have wanted, they are going to stop. The left is going to stop at nothing to get Clarence Thomas off the high court. They're unrelenting, aren't they?
You know, Andrew, they are. Thanks for having me on. Good morning, Mercy. They have been after Clarence Thomas for 40 years, right? And what really gets them angry, right, is that they tried to take him out 30 years ago during his confirmation, and they utterly failed. And it sends him off the rails that he's a black conservative who has never bowed to the left's racist views of what someone should think based on the color of their skin. And now, right now, 30 years later, after they've mocked Justice Thomas and attacked him, he is the leader of the court. And all of the opinions, or many of them, are trending his way. The jurisprudence he laid out, so for your listeners, in terms of persistence and perseverance, Clarence Thomas, in strength, he is the model. He is the leader. And, you know, and now with the court, you know, striking down Roe, striking down these racist affirmative action programs, right? These are all things that Clarence Thomas laid out for years, and the court's adopting his positions, and they want to take him down. And they actually want to take the entire court down because it's no longer this little playpen for the left to implement, right, legislative policies that they could never enact, right, through the democratic process. And so that's what you're seeing here. Is these attacks are really about taking the court out.
Well, and Mark, let's take a step back, right? Let's figure out who are these dark players. I call them satanic players at this moment that are focused on destroying Justice Clarence Thomas, on destroying conservatives. They're kind of like I don't even know what to call ProPublica. I mean, other than like the wing of the communist at this point, along with several other publications like the Daily Beast. So because what do? They act like it's a breaking story, going after Justice Clarence Thomas on whether it be his travel, and they go on this whole smear job, yet they don't even include correct facts in it. So that's the other piece of this. So walk us through how you're seeing what is this coordinated effort by not only ProPublica. I mean, I see ads, paid ads, that we have no idea where this money is coming from other than the dark money, in taking down Clarence Thomas so that they can give Joe Biden a pick in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, Mercy, it's amazing. ProPublica, I call it a website, a left-wing website funded by hardcore left-wing donors. 25% of their funding they do not disclose at all. So you have a lot of big, hardcore, billionaires that are funding them. But they are sloppy in their reporting. They are mission-oriented, which is to take down the court. Their first story on Justice Thomas, it literally left out the fact that the Judicial Conference had allegations against Justice Thomas not disclosing his travel with his friend all the way back in 2011. And they actually issued a ruling saying he didn't have to disclose it. Right? They don't mention that at all. Whether you agree with it or not, that is fundamental to the story, and they didn't mention it. So they misled their readers. In their latest story, the one where they have him taking a yacht ride around the Bahamas, it's utterly false. It's 100% false. Justice Thomas hasn't been in the Bahamas since the 1980s. He's never laid eyes on the boat they're talking about. They have like 8 photos of this yacht in the story, and he's never been on this boat. He's never sailed on a boat that is owned by this friend. His name is Tony Novelli. It's an utter lie. The other one that was in there was about him attending a college football game right, and sitting in a box. The price of the ticket, as told to me by the Nebraska Athletic Department, was $65 for that ticket, and yet they want to make it into a $40,000 gift that Justice Thomas should have reported. But if you step back on that, Mercy, right, one of the things is all these public officials that go to games and they get photographed with, sort of glowing, here's President Obama sitting courtside, here's Jill Biden sitting at the Super Bowl last year in the owner's box next to Roger Goodell. Nobody says, hey, did they pay for their ticket? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
but Justice Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, you know what bothers me the most is then ProPublica's story, they take it as journalism, and then you have other outlets basically amplifying the lies of ProPublica. That is what's so disturbing. But you all did something great, which is you had over 100 former clerks of Justice Thomas signing this open letter defending his integrity and independence. How can conservatives best push back on justice, on supporting Justice Thomas and really unveiling the lies coming from the left and these leftist organizations trying to take him down?
Yeah, the letter was a beautiful letter signed by 112 former clerks, folks that have gone out into the world who are, and it's showing the impact of Justice Thomas being, 5 of them were federal judges, several of them are solicitors general, just very successful lawyers standing up for a guy that they knew and know and clerked for a year. I think it's just, I try and write as many things as I can. I urge your listeners to go to markpaoletta.com or follow me on Twitter at Mark Paoletta. If you look at all of these smears on Justice Thomas, you could pull them apart and realize they're actually flat out lies or just misrepresentations. And then the other thing I'd say, Mercy, is watch the movie Created Equal, which is a powerful movie. It cuts through all the garbage, right? They want to go after, did he take this trip? He's complied with the law. They get into this back and forth stuff. Did he go to a football game? Like ridiculous stuff like that. The amazing thing about Clarence Thomas is his jurisprudence and his life story, which is the best of America. Created Equal, Clarence Thomas in his own words, is on, platform, can stream and all that stuff. That's what I tell people to do, because then you learn the real Clarence Thomas. Read his memoirs called My Grandfather's Son. I'm out with a book which is based on the interview on Justice Thomas called Clarence Thomas in his own words. Read things about Justice Thomas. You'll know, right, based on reading about him and his character, that all of these stories are garbage. And then if you want to know the specific facts about why they're garbage, go to my website or read stories about explaining why he's complied with the law, how ProPublica leaves out important facts, lies about him being in the Bahamas and being on a yacht that he's never even laid eyes on. They said that Wayne Huizenga gave him a lifetime membership to a golf club. It's absolutely false. I mean, these are just made up stories. And so that's the kind of stuff you saw with, they went after they went after Justice Alito on a trip. Justice Alito went on a trip, right, where one of the other judges who went on a similar trip had gotten specific guidance from the Judicial Conference saying you do not have to report the plane that you were flying on, and you don't have to report the lodge. Those are the rules and the guidance and the rules in place at the time. And they tried to rewrite history to say, oh, you're not complying with the law. It's just a weaponization of ethics, which is going on right now. That's not applied to the left. That's what happens. It's the weaponization. Joe Biden, Clarence Thomas literally goes to his friend's home. Some of them happen to be, have nice homes. They're there. They spend time. I've been on some of these trips, right? But they're friends. What does Joe Biden do? He takes over donors' homes, right? Yes. Billionaires' donors' homes, like David Rubenstein or Akiwa Island.
Tom Steyer, right?
Several times. Tom Steyer. And he doesn't know these people. He just takes their home. Right? That is quite different than what we call personal hospitality. And he lives there for a week or 2 weeks, and he doesn't report it on his forms. He doesn't disclose it, and nobody's bothered about it. So
unfortunately,
that's
Mark,
the double standard.
That's the double standard. If they didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. Mark Paoletta, senior fellow at the Center for Renewing America. Wow, there's a Freudian slip. Center for Renewing America. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Mercy.
Take care. Yes. Listen, Mercy, my favorite Clarence Thomas story is the fact that he and Ginny travel around America in an RV. That's how they like to spend their vacations.
I love it. They're the best
It's wonderful.
People. Just the best.
Without a doubt. it is, we'll be back in a moment. Right now, it's 7:15 a.m. WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes, first on the 5s. Here is Jamie Whitten in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.